This is a side project for me. I need to turn a part that is the right size but an odd shape. I cannot hold it in my regular jaws, so I'm making my custom soft jaws. Hello and welcome back. When I purchased my 3-jaw chuck, it came with a full set of jaws, that is regular and reverse jaws, and note of the racks for bolt-on jaws. The chuck itself is a Bison from the Soviet era. However, it is still possible to buy new old parts, and the manufacturer is still producing chucks. The aluminum saw jaws have been a low priority project for me, and since I'm spending time on it now, I may as well make extra blanks for future use. I'm making them from a cast aluminum block that seems to be the right size for 2 sets of jaws. The block has some rough and unusable sides. I'm cutting them off on my bandsaw. It is not exactly up to the task, but I can finish the job in vertical position. For making it flat, I'm intentionally using a fly cutter. I was interested to see the topology the casting makes. The fly cutter slices the hills layer by layer, kind of like on maps, revealing the highs and lows of the part. The process is ridiculously slow, but I'm not in a hurry. Here I'm using a single setup approach to mill 5 sides in one setup, making the blank as square as possible. This approach is commonly used on CNC mills. The small portion of front and back that is covered by the vise will be milled away when machining the other side. I have enough thickness for that. The saw marks are not completely gone. This is not necessary. It will be gone when I machine locating keys, or when I machine it on the lathe to hold my part. At this stage, only the thickness is final, and it equals the thickness, or rather the width of my racks. Machining of the other flat is completed with the same tool, but unfortunately reveals porosity. That is not looking good, but shouldn't affect the function. The blank has enough room for 2 jaws in a row, which simplifies my job because I can machine keys on 2 jaws at the same time, and there is also enough room to split jaws later with my bandsaw. The stock being square is very convenient at this stage. I can separate the pieces on my bandsaw without worrying the dimensions changing when I turn it around. As you can see, the 2 cuts align nicely because of this, and I'm side milling this, but not really sure why. I could have milled the keys right into the sawn surfaces, and the saw marks would still go away. And now to the interesting part. How to make the keys the same on all parts, exactly on center line and symmetrical. You can rely on your measuring equipment, as I tried it first. You'd need to control the depths on both Y and Z axis, and you'd need a depth mic for that. Instead, you can simply flip your part in the vise and make a cut on the other side without Y or Z movement. The key needs to be guaranteed wider than required, and the depth should be kinda close, but it's not very important at this stage. If you use this technique, you can get away without any measurements, simply by test fitting and shaving a little bit on both sides. Or, to speed up the process, you can measure it with your regular mic and cut half the oversize on both sides. This way, you cut away exactly the same amount of material from both sides of the part, and if you need to make more, the final setting is already there. Just throw a new blank in the vise, and the first cut will be the final cut. Of course, if you have more material to remove, and in something much harder, I would suggest several passes on D without touching Y, because Z is less important and you can get close with DRO or machine dials. The test shows a very nice snug fit, and the depths account for the cross key plus some extra. The last key comes out a bit looser, but still with no evident side play. When the keys are finished, I split the jaws on my bandsaw, and this again is where squareness and the end stop makes the job fast and easy. After that, I'm milling the saw marks away, and doing that in sets of 3. This will make the jaws in a given set exactly the same, and the squareness is important to mill cross keys. Because for the cross keys, I'm using the same general approach, using the stop to position the part in the vise, and movement on only one axis to make symmetrical cuts. In my case, the width of all keys is exactly the same, so I can do test fitting on a longer key and get the right results. And when all the keys are the correct width, I trim the height on all of them as needed. This is the final result on keys. Now I need to make mounting holes. And since the central key is sticking out, I need to arrange parallels so it drops below and not in the way. As parallels, I'm using old gauge blocks. I need to be careful not to drill into the hardened blocks, so I'm using some shim to roughly set the drilling depth, stopping some couple of millimeters before breaking through. And finishing the pre-drilled holes is easy on a drill press. And for counterbore, it turned out to be a cheaper solution to get the right size end mill rather than a proper tool. with more than 10 times price difference. The end mill I'm using is not a central cutting mill, but because I already have a very nice hole in the center, I just need to clear chips from time to time, because it's not a through hole and chips accumulate. And after finishing the holes on the drill press and some chamfering, I can assemble the jaws. As you can see, I could have made the cross keys longer. It would be simply by changing order of operations, but for soft aluminum it's not really important. The keys are too small to withstand any considerable load. They are for locating purpose only. All the load is carried by bolts and friction. It may be important though for some harder jaws like steel, and if you need to have a lot of jaw pressure on your part. The jaws fit in the chuck nicely, and the bored part is actually, well, boring. I preload the jaws with some cut-off piece of steel and bore out the jaws to size. The part I need the jaws for fits very nicely, but that's for another video. And for now, thank you for watching. Let me know if you like this video, and I see you next time.